Hi, folks. Really pleased to have an absolutely fantastic guest with me tonight. The man is a legend, US football hooligan, Derek Diablo Alvarez. Have I pronounced it right?
Yes, brother.
Yeah. How are you?
Oh, excellent. Blessed, feeling good.
Yeah.
I'm in a great, and I want to apologize to you because we've been meaning to do an interview and get together and work together for so long. And last time, you invited me to go to Dave Courtney's house, rest in peace, legend. Respect to that man. And we got caught up. I got stuck in Kilburn, whatever. So I'm looking forward to when I come back now. Let's meet up straight away and get face to face on something.
Kind of rose to fame on that program with Vice, where they were talking about Americans only football hooligan.
Well, it's not just me. I'm the only one
Yeah.
who's been willing to put themselves out there. And there's
Mhm.
loads of other. It comes from skinheads. 'Cause
Yes.
I'm anti-racist skinhead, traditional skinhead. In England, people know what that is. America, people don't know what that is.
Yes.
So obviously, the quick tradition from Rude Boys, from the soul music,
Mhm.
from the ska, skinhead reggae, '60s. Then later, you get through punk. You get a second skinhead movement, and
Mhm.
that's where you get the Nazi symbolism and the screwdriver and all that. And then you get the anti-racist movement, which is
Mhm.
anti-racist skinhead, sharp skinheads against racial prejudice, which is what I am. Florida sharp
Yeah.
skinheads against racial. So then you get through the music. So then the original music is soul, ska,
Mhm.
going into two-tone and madness and that. But then when you talk about the punk side of the street punk oi music, so
Yes.
then I'm in punk since 1986, and
Mhm.
then I'm looking around. That's 12 years old, and now by 13, I got mohawk, I got exploited T-shirts, I got Sid Vicious patch on my back,
Mhm.
wearing boots. I was the main punk rocker in my middle school at 13 years old, going to shows. First show, Circle Jerk, 7 seconds, in 1987. So, and I seen the Skins there, and skinheadism is the same, just like a football hooligan. Is my interpretation of casuals. It's just it came from it
Mhm.
because of the Hillsborough disaster and the Heysel disaster. The casual scene evolved in other factors, but it's a skinhead, a
Mhm.
casual, a hooligan. So then, in the old days, they didn't have specialized firms,
Mhm.
right? They didn't have they had boot boy gangs. That's a
Mhm.
skinhead boot boy gang, and you happen to go to football and kick off. But
Mhm.
then later with the ICF and the emergence of
Yes.
the firms, then you get the specialized firms. So with that being said, people say, because they want to take the piss out of me, and I don't mind it. Because when
Mhm.
you're doing this, when you're putting yourself in front of another culture and you're saying, I'm your stuff over here,
Mhm.
like skinheads, you guys are not going to accept skinheads from Malaysia and other countries in America. Not everybody will. And
Mhm.
it's just like us with hip hop. Americans don't accept rap music from other countries. They
Mhm.
say, what? English, grime rap. Imagine Stormzy, nobody knows who he is in America.
Mhm. Mhm.
Some people that listen to drum and bass, but they hear that. People tell me, man, what you mean? Gangs in England? I'm
Mhm.
like, yeah, England is ruthless. It's more knife crime and improvised weapons and everything. So anyway, I'm knowing about oi music, Cockney Rejects, West Ham, since I'm 13 years old, and
Mhm.
listen to that. And I'm hearing what the war on the terraces. I didn't understand all of it. I didn't
Yeah.
understand all of it. So I become a skinhead. And then there's a book by Nick Knight called Skinhead.
Oh, I remember that.
And then you got Spirit of '69
Mhm.
by George, I'm forgetting his name. But so anyway, in that Skinhead book,
Mhm.
right, it shows obviously everything about the culture and the style in
Mhm.
that contemporary with that age, so halfway a bit of Nazi element in there. That the oi music has that RAC, Rock Against Communism element, Screwdriver and the like, Brutal Attack and the like. So then by seeing that book, there's an entire section of football hooliganism. The famous picture with the girl with a dart in her eye. And,
Mhm.
and
Yes.
then there's loads of pictures of sharpened coins
Mhm.
and stuff. And then my uncle, I was raised to think British culture is cool. My parents were hippies, and
Yes.
my uncle, my mother's brother, had moved to England for six
Mhm.
years
Mhm.
and came back. In the Miami weather, wearing the London fog, not yeah, trench coat type of deal. And he came back speaking with a British accent. So I was already kind of raised to think British culture is cool. My parents were into it. So then, but I seen that whole hooligan football hooliganism section, and I understood what the music is more. And then
Mhm.
knowing that these guys do this sort of thing, I knew kind of what a hooligan was. And then the Foreskins, when you listen to bands like Foreskins, it
Mhm.
makes the lyrics. That's what the oi music is an honest form of music. And the
Yes.
geezer who's from Coxpear and he's a singer of Argy Bargy. There's a great documentary called Oi, the video. And I
Hmm.
had that when I'm 14 years old.
Right.
So the strikers, my team since I saw since 1979, since I
Mhm.
was a kid, it had died and came back and died and came back. And I had already seen ID, Scum. I had already seen the original Firm. I had already seen quite a lot of these movies. Not quite a lot. Let's say those. And then Football Factory came out. Big up, man like Danny Dyer. Right now, Marching Powder's coming out.
Mhm.
I hope
Yes.
I hope to be able to see it in man like Nick Love, greatest director out. I
Yes.
think he's the
Yes.
greatest director out. Hope to out. Let's have a party. Let's have a party. Maybe they'll give me a boot party if I make a public party in London for Marching Powder. But
Mhm.
hey, sometimes you get turned over. It happens. But so anyway, once I saw Football Factory,
Mhm.
okay, and I'm not the only one. These lads I talked to, like
Mhm.
Steph from Plymouth, and
Mhm.
his brother Sean.
Mhm.
It kind of had died out, and the
Mhm.
TCE had kind of died out, in Plymouth, and then Football Factory came, baby, and these two guys were 6'5". They're both 6'5".
Mhm.
Sheridan is a boxer,
It's a
and
big man.
he's 6'6",
Yeah.
and he's old school. So Plymouth is a fighting town. It already
Mhm.
is. So and fighting is a way of life. It comes from the Navy coming down there and fighting all them,
Mhm.
and then you got settled families. My boy Plymouth Ryan comes from boxing booth family.
Yeah.
Boxing booth. That would be a great
No,
film.
that would
Goes right.
be. So when that the Vice thing came out, how did it affect your life? Because I mean, it was seen by millions of people, wasn't it?
Basically, I've been getting slowly bigger and bigger and bigger my whole life. So
Hmm.
that's why, you see a lot of people who come off of viral videos. How many people are able to pan it out into more
Hmm.
stuff? But the thing is, I had already been doing a lot of stuff. I've
Hmm.
been doing martial arts since 1982, competing, and
Hmm.
my family had a martial arts school, so I was the best in my territory. I was beating up all the other kids in my
Hmm.
school in the neighborhood. Not everybody, but my whole neighborhood. I terrorized. I done stuff like once I'm in the gang scene and in the skinhead scene, I will use my martial arts. I
Hmm.
jump spin kicked the leader of the skinhead gang that everybody was scared of when I was a kid in front of everybody, knocked him out. Another time I did a flying sidekick on a band member who was playing a guitar, a band that disrespected us and start. I would be the one they'd send into a house, the older skins, go in there and start a fight, for no reason.
Hmm.
'Cause, whatever I was prepared to do whatever it took to be a skinhead. Basically that sort of thing. But you're asking, oh, so the Vice documentary. So you can understand, me and my friends, and I'm making them available again now. We came to notoriety
Hmm.
big around 2004. I've been on NBC, Telemundo, Telemundo's biggest news outlet in the world, and it's because we have these violent street videos from South Florida. I'm gonna
Yes.
start selling them now, making them available. Dirty South Street Brutality was the first one we come out. Gangsters and thugs, real shit. People getting shot. You know what I mean? Us beating people up, jumping people, moshing. Anyway, so then that was NBC Telemundo, and I already had a cover story in my local newspaper, the
Hmm.
New Times, that covers music and culture in
Yes.
Miami area, South Florida, they followed me for 30 days in this story. So then, little by little, in America, I got much more well known.
Hmm.
But then when I got into the hooligan scene, let's say, I've always been attracted to it. I tried to start it in I went with lads, but at
Hmm.
this was after seeing Football Factory. I didn't know the casuals. I didn't get the casuals thing. So I went boot boy style. I went with my flight jacket.
Hmm.
I joined the Miami Ultras, but they weren't into fighting. So
Yeah.
that's why I couldn't get into them. I'm like, yeah, let's go do the Tampa. I know what to do. I know the territory. They're like, oh, brother, we don't fight. What's the purpose of being an ultra if you don't fight? But anyway, so bottom line is, the Vice documentary, it blew me up in UK.
Yes.
But the thing is that the same people who are gonna watch that, or in America, more or less already know me.
Yes.
And then, if you're just a typical soccer fan,
Hmm.
you got to figure that's our fifth sport. It's considered a girl sport here, and
Hmm.
it's for smaller people. And
Hmm.
the South Americans and Mexicans and people like that are into it. Cubans, where I'm from, my Cubans are not really into that.
Hmm.
Here it's about NFL, and
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
NBA.
Big.
So the fact of the matter is, the people who know what football hooliganism is in America
Hmm.
are skinheads and people into punk rock, or their barra brava culture from Colombia or
Hmm.
hinchada culture from Mexico. That they have the different manifestations of it, torcidas. So
Hmm.
then that's an important thing. So that's how the Vice documentary. What did it do? It just got me bigger. And then the Tommy one,
Yes.
got me
Tell me
thinking.
about that because people, you may well recognize Derek from having a bit of a bust up with TR, as we call him. Were you sent there to have a bust up, or was it spontaneous?
But
Yeah.
first of all, to Tommy, to Mr. Yaxley, I'm gonna keep going back and forth with you because we got this thing we're building,
Hmm.
and it's getting bigger and bigger. And I've done time too. I don't wish it upon anybody except unless they're pedo or unless they're doing whatever it is like that. If
Yeah.
you stand up for your people, a lot of people support you.
Hmm.
Best wishes, bomb. I want to do this boxing match with you, and I don't.
It would be a great fight because size wise and everything. I mean, boy, that would be some fight, wouldn't it?
Well, here's the quick background, as fast as I can say it,
Yeah.
is that uh how I first got with you in
Hmm.
2019 was this Steve Dolan chap,
Hmm.
fake Millwall hooligan at the time, saying he was a top boy. He's doing interviews in Russia, saying he's a top boy at Millwall and will attack any other supporters. Anyway, so I done the first video because me and him, we was communicating. I announced I was Miami Casuals on this
Yeah.
football casual culture in North America website.
Hmm.
It meant fashion to me. I didn't think there was any hooligans in America. So to
Hmm.
me, it was just that I was getting out of the leftism because these guys, the George Soros and the Democrats, whatever you want to call them, they hijacked the Antifa and the anti-fascist movement
Yeah.
that began with us fighting Nazi skinheads,
Hmm.
and then all of a sudden now there's these activists and these leftists and these paid people that never even saw a real Nazi and never fought one. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So when I got out of that movement and these radical third wave feminists with their positions and Me Too and stuff, I was like, man, y'all, I never even seen a Nazi. I've been in prison for it. So I got more in common with the Nazis as far as we're fighting men. We never called the police. We killed each other. People's houses got bombed. We never pressed charges on each other. People got killed over it. I did prison time, so I respect them. You have to have an enemy you can respect if you have this mentality. But back to the Tommy. So then Steve Dolan. The thing is that I was talking with him when I said Miami Casuals, everybody came against me, and then he started coming against me and challenging me to a fight with Millwall. But then he has a different profile
Hmm.
whereby he's talking to me, "All right, Dell," and this and that. And then I said, "Yeah, you all right? Yeah." I said, "Listen, brother, here's my idea: 10-on-10, Miami versus Millwall, like a forest fight,
Yeah.
but controlled in a fake little place, like with mats that painted black to look like the street, and wearing
Oh.
clobber, light colors versus dark colors,
Hmm.
10-on-10, MMA gloves,
Hmm.
trainers." And there's referees there, and with pay-per-view, split the money, baby. We can do it in
Yeah.
Miami. It's not illegal. The Millwall and the Brentford did one. They did a 10-on-10 fight.
Yeah. Yeah.
In response to me, basically, they got stitched up though. That's the problem. The bill came and got them after because that's organized football intelligence, right? It's considered gang violence associated with football.
Right.
If you just did it, the gypsies doing it with each other or
Hmm.
getting into a fight it wouldn't be the same thing. But there's enhanced charges, 5-year charges, and that for football associated stuff. So then my notion is forget the football. We got
Hmm.
the names. We know who we are. We know
Yeah.
what we represent. And at football, you do what's appropriate there.
Hmm.
If these younger lads want to go have meetups on their own,
Hmm.
fair play. I'm not going to tell nobody not to do anything because I'm a kid. I do these kind of things.
Hmm.
But as for the older lads, where they go, give it large, and
Hmm.
nobody gets into a fight. Well, let's turn this into a money making thing. The Vice documentary. I've been exposing the American outlaw culture to this hooligan thing,
Hmm.
and there's a skinhead element within all the MLS supporters groups.
Hmm.
They want to be like ultras and South American or barra bravas and that, or they want to be like a American style of supporter. So casuals, the people don't know what it is. Who British hooligans? The other ones don't understand the fascination with it. A lot of them don't speak English.
Hmm.
So I'm into something different. But we have that element. We have that casuals. And by me talking about casuals, I've been teaching it to everybody. And now little by little, other people are not saying, "Oh yeah, I'm a casual" publicly like I did,
Hmm.
because they don't want to get this ridicule and this. But I like it's banter. It's a crack.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
it's
It's fun.
fun.
Yeah.
So the thing about it is, there is this element in every single fan base, and it's growing.
Yeah. Hmm.
And there are firms, and they have arranged fights. Texas, Houston Dynamo, Brick Wall Firm is the skinhead side of it, and then their barra is I'm forgetting the name of their barra. They hate Chicago,
Okay.
Chicago Fire, that has Sector Latino. I'm friends with them. They're communists, they got the Che Guevara and stuff like that, and they're connected with anti-Nazis and connected with gangs in Chicago. So two Latino firms.
Mhm.
And it's far. You can't just jump on a train. America's too big. You know
Yes.
what I mean? So the
Yeah.
thing is, these boys, this brick wall firm, they went to Texas and they had a arranged fight,
Mhm.
like 10 on 10 or whatever they agreed upon, and had a brawl. They didn't film it.
Mhm.
Both sides, I've talked to both sides. Both
Mhm.
sides says, yeah, it was a good fight. Neither side is claiming a pure victory.
No.
But they fought, they had it. So that's two Latino gangs, people who were into gangs in America
Mhm.
and find this as kind of a retirement program. That's what I always said.
Mhm.
For me, this thing, the skinhead stuff and the gang shit I'm in, it's kind of still ongoing. You know what I
Yes.
mean? Because these guys don't have something else to move into. And then they go into motorcycle clubs, 1%er clubs, and then that's a whole nother thing. So believe it or not, casual saved my life. I
Yeah.
said it because I
So,
got
so
a
how do you get back to Tommy with this?
okay, okay,
Yeah.
sorry,
Yeah.
boom, boom. So then bottom line is I've been looking for a fight. Steve
Yeah.
Dolan, that's how I talked to you because of Sheridan. You had the Sky TV deal, and me and Steve Dolan were trying to agree with a fight.
Yes.
I had it set up in Sunderland, and then he starts messaging me when other people are starting to take bets. He says, "Hey man, what's going on? Is this for real?" He's like, "I'm not a fighter. What are you?" I was like, "Mate." I'm like, "Don't blow this opportunity."
Mhm.
I was like, brother, I said, I teach people, man. I said, we'll go in the park, I'll practice with you. And then in the ring, I take care of the body shot. Don't worry about it. We
Mhm.
fucking make money. It's $1,500 to
Yeah.
begin with the show, and then percentage of the pay-per-view. I had the whole thing out. UK Casuals was involved, the lad Matty.
Yeah.
And then whatever, the Steve Dolan, just wouldn't do it. So now we get to the Tommy, and there's other videos of that with me and calling out Tommy because of the Riaz Khan. So there's all this, because I always knew this would be a great opportunity.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
so a compelling fight and everything like that. So then, fast forward to I'm in Plymouth. I'm in Cardiff in 2023,
Mhm.
filming with the Central Club, and they invested in me in a whole week.
Mhm.
I had done a one day documentary, and I had done the previous year, and I had done a podcast. And
Mhm.
based on that, an interest in me, and I have loads of ideas. I pitched 10 different television shows for
Yes.
us to pitch to Welsh TV.
Mhm.
Anyway, so they invested in filming me. It was meant to be Monday, and I filmed myself waking up in the morning allegedly,
Mhm.
and all the way to Saturday, which I book in around Millwall.
Yeah.
First day was a Wigan match, and it
Mhm.
happened to be the 40-year anniversary of Soul Crew. I
Mhm.
just happened to book in on the Wigan match because I got, I banter with them, and
Mhm.
then the Millwall match is what I book in on. I believe in God,
Mhm.
so what's the chances that the day my first football match in Wales is the 40-year-old Soul Crew anniversary, and they
Yeah.
had a party for me. So going back to Tommy. So then anyway, the problem is I'm generally a nice guy. I don't go around kicking off on people,
No.
unless I have a problem. I don't behave like you see me, but that was a character. I don't behave like that in the pub. You get killed. But anyway, so the thing is that after a day of filming, Colin's like, Dell, we need the ideas I'm coming up with. He's like, Dell, we need to do some viral content.
Mhm.
I was like, what do you mean? He's like, can't you just like kick off on somebody? So he brings me to the market there.
Mhm.
I'm not that kind of person. I don't go around. I guess streamers do that. I
Mhm.
don't go around bothering people, act like a dickhead for the
No.
content.
No. No.
So I said no. So he was scrambling for viral content, and he's obviously friends with Tommy, and he's done stuff with him. He says, "Hey, would you do a left-right debate against Tommy?" And then there's more to that because he copied that idea from Kester One, who already had that idea for Tommy, and this drag queen called Alex Reed from Cardiff.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Alex. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, you know who that is?
Yeah. Yeah. He was in a film of mine. He was a cage fighter, but he had the other side to him.
Wow, yeah. So then Kester One long time ago had come up with this idea for Tommy, and they had already tried it. So then basically, who they call Cardiff Baby Huey,
Yeah.
Cullen Mace, he got the idea from that, and he says, "Hey, would you do a left-right debate and podcast with Tommy?" And I says, and I know what they're doing. They're pressuring me now because they're not getting viral content,
Yes.
and so they're pressuring me on that front. And then I was already in negotiations with the Zone Boxing Misfit Lee Eaton
Yes.
because of my Plymouth connections. Had showed the guy who I'm fighting for now, Bradley Doghouse, who owns Doghouse, who runs Plymouth. I'm going to fight there for him. He's friends with Lee Eaton, and he says, "Hey, you know this guy is this American hooligan?" And Lee Eaton apparently says, "No, my God, the guy's amazing." He says, "Yeah, he's a fighter. He's looking for a boxing match." He said, "What?" Da-da-da. And so they wanted to put me on. I didn't know what Misfits was. They wanted to put me back then. They offered me to be on the undercard for 13,000 quid of they had that money back then. Now they don't pay as much, but for undercard of KSI and Phase Temper. That was supposed to
Yes.
be my. But then that's going on. And I call my mate Plymouth Ryan, his cousin. He's British Jiu-Jitsu. He's a jiu-jitsu teacher, my close mate. And me and him write all these ideas out. And he says, mate, I tell him, hey, brother, they want me to do, I was thinking, I'm going to do some publicity stunt of some sort. Because now I'm already in negotiation with DAZN Boxing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? With Tim, now me and him is the biggest fight in the UK. So anyway, it's just a boxing match. I don't got nothing against the guy personal. I don't agree with some of his opinions, some of his methods, whatever like that. But we have a lot of same supporters in common. Let's have it. And I'm for traditional British culture.
Yes.
So whatever, say no more. So anyway, so the thing is, I tell my man Ryan, who we make a lot of this stuff up together, I says, mate, fucking, they got me doing the podcast with the Yaxley on Thursday. He said, fuck off, Dell. He says, you know what you do? He says, you wind it up, get him to kick off on you, defend yourself, shout out the zone. He said, you'll be in the main event. And I said, yeah, that's more or less what I had. So that was the main thing I wrote down. And the rest of it, I sat up smoking weed and put it on my clothes and looking in the mirror and writing little bits to wind him up, to get him pissed off. But then he had his own stuff loaded up. So the thing is, those guys own their own studio, mate.
Yes.
Okay, I was born on a day, but not yesterday. I didn't just fall off the damn yam truck. You know what I mean? The thing about it is, what they got a beautiful studio, big studio. Why do we go to a farm hours away? They're driving me through. There's only Welsh writing. I'm informed there's a fairy tale castle. It's Caerphilly, but I didn't know Caerphilly at the time. I never even been outside the city center, And I get to this gaff with these boys, with Cullen and his father, and there's a boxing ring there. It's a private facility with a boxing ring, a bunch of boxing bags, boxing gloves in the ring, and a big bloke there who's the ex-crew, and the good guy, Ram, and he's got a Kavmagaj, so he got a referee. So, like I said, I wasn't born yesterday. But here's the thing. I knew what they were trying to do. They're trying to get us to do a boxing match for their podcast for free. But I had other ideas.
Yes.
And even I tried to talk to Tommy ahead of time once, because he came after me and they had me sat in the Range Rover waiting till they set up for hours. And then they set up, and now they got it all set up. And then the Cullen came. I can't tell this to anybody. This has to be a secret. So I said, I tell him, hey, brother, I got to tell you and Tommy something important. I said, kick everybody else out of the room. No, Dale, because the microphones. I said, fucking take the microphones off. This is big, man. This is big. Imagine if we would have sat and planned it and reshot it.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I fucking went into it and I had to go guerrilla. So it's a work shoot. Like, to me, my favorite comedian is Andy Kaufman. I don't know if you know who that is.
Yeah.
They call me Skinhead. I call myself Skinhead Andy Kaufman because I always like that wind up. And people don't know that it's an act. And people don't know it's comedy because you're not hey, I followed the other day. You're not doing it doesn't look like a comedy act. So that sort of thing and that suspension of disbelief of working the people, it's pro wrestling stuff. So all you like Chael Sonnen talks about it a lot. You don't like in pride fights and UFC fights and boxing matches. It doesn't have to be that both guys agree to something and script it. It's just simple. One guy has to. The guy who's more in command can do what they want with it. They can take a fall. They can do it. It's easier in MMA because you can go down and that's it. They don't have a 10 count. Acting like you're hurt for a 10 count. Not everybody's. Not easy. So anyway, the bottom line is, I went in there with my agenda. Their agenda was quite simple. I've done it before. And I got this guy. You got somebody by themselves in a pub or whatever like this, talking shit. Say, all right, bro. I'm gonna get him. You just break it up, and by break it up, you hold that guy. And now they're all smashed up. And now he's like, get out of me, you go, because he started it out with the boxing match, and then Cullen says, "Oh yeah, they had some exchanges online." We never had no exchanges. No. I made all those videos. He never said anything to me. I think it's a good opportunity anyway. So going on, bam. We got the and we could talk and go in depth on it, me and you, and in the mechanisms of how it works second by second from a pro wrestling perspective. But either way, I accomplished what I had to accomplish, right? And then once he kind of seen he went outside talking, and he still believed it was real. They still believed it was real. But then I took off my shirt and started bouncing, and now I know it's time. All right, well, fuck the money. There's a ring there. Let's go. That's my head. Okay, I'm gonna go now. It's time. I'm in boxing mode now. And then he started seeing me, man, and he realized they started realizing something wasn't right, and he left. I stayed there with him and shot more content. I did the circular content. I did the talking, and I hung out with them afterwards. So anyway, to me, it's show business and it's opportunity for both of us to life-changing money. And thing about it is, immediately after, once we're done, I'm with the Central Club and we're leaving. And now Peter calls Tommy. And and they're talking. He's worried. He's trying to get the footage from them, and he's worried about me pressing charges, right?
Right.
And
Yeah.
he starts asking about that. And then Peter's like, "No, well," he's like, "Well, Dell's here now." He's like, "He's with you?" He said, "Yeah. You want to talk to him?" He's like, I tell him, "All right, Tommy." He said, "Yeah, I'm all right. You all right, Dell?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "Brother, you did great." I said, "You did perfect." I said, "I'm in negotiation with DAZN Boxing. I'm supposed to be fighting on this and da da da." I says, "Brother," I said, "Now we're in the main event. Now, we're going to be millionaires." He says, "Oh, all right, Dell, make it happen." He says, "No, one more thing, Dell." I said, "Yeah." He said, I'm gonna take your fucking head off." He said, "I'm gonna punch your fucking head off." I said, "Yes, brother. See you in the ring." Boom. And then my man Plymouth Ryan called me, that Lee Eaton called him
Yeah.
and said, "Oh my God, tell Dell not to take his flight home. Get him to training, get him away from his hooligan friends, get him in Plymouth." I was in Cardiff. Get him
Mhm.
in Plymouth. So I fucked off my flight home, and I didn't call and didn't make a gimmick. So I lost my flight altogether. And then Lee Eaton and then Tommy, I guess, backed out of it. Wouldn't do it when people around him start saying, "Nah, man, you've been had," you know. But
Oh,
even still,
really?
it's only a boxing match. That's the thing. White collar for what? Anyway, the point is, so then I'm stuck in Cardiff now.
So
Now,
Derek. So we got a minute and 50 left. Yeah. What was the end of the bit? Yeah.
well, the
What?
end of it is just that then there was another opportunity, which still is going on right now with Dean Cooper, former champion, gangster, and Kesto One, and they got another barrister who's involved. They're talking about Wembley Conference Arena,
Yes.
Wembley Conference Arena, and also Billy Joe Saunders offered to do it at his property. So it's a massive fight, and to me, it's two gentlemen getting in the ring, or not always gentlemen, but getting in the ring, having it, make some money, entertain the people. God bless you, him, Britannia. God bless everybody. I'll see you in London, brother.
Absolutely fantastic, Derek. Thank you so much for your time. People want to follow you. Where do they go?
Okay, for me, you go Diablo TV. That's YouTube Diablo TV. Then you got Derek Diablo TV on Instagram. Yeah, I got a TikTok one. I don't use it too much, but I'm gonna get it back on it more. I got a Derek Diablo on X, and then I got this short film coming out. It's called The working title is Raging Beef, that I filmed when I was over there. It has to do with my boxing. Has me doing a bunch of stuff. Man like Dylan, he works for Copa 90, and it's Edge Films, and it came out so good that instead of selling it to a YouTube outlet, they're gonna put it in film festivals. They're showing it to sophisticated people, you know what I mean? A different audience. So hopefully you see me in Cannes and Sunset and Sundance. And next time I want to be in there with you, brother. Next film.
Fantastic. I'll see you in the UK
All
very
right.
soon. Thank you very much,
Thank
Derek.
you, brother.